All right, guys, out on some brand new water today. Very excited to break this lake down, see if we can't catch some fish. I'm scouting for largemouth bass trips coming up in the next week. Want to keep it fresh, test some new water. The goal today is to bend the rod. I'm going to start off looking at main lake points and probably look at the east side of the lake. We've had this west-southwest wind blowing for a while. Heavy weeds out here on this body of water, so definitely going to be a challenge. Slight color to the water as well. Got a little bit of a murky color and a shallow basin, so these are all things that I'm looking for a good mid to late summer bass pattern. So we'll see if we can't get into them. I know there are some big pike in here too, so that'll be cool to see how that unfolds as well.
When I'm fishing giant weed flats that cover entire sections of a lake with no apparent weed edge, I use the GPS features on my electronics to keep track of the water I've covered and where I have caught fish. Each time I catch a fish, see a unique piece of structure, or mark a significant pot of bait fish, I plot a waypoint on my sonar map. Doing this allows me to get a good idea of where predator fish are holding, and it makes it easy to go back to these potential hot spots that can be otherwise hard to find.
Got one. There we go. Pikey minnow. Pikey minnow. Nice. Hey, I'll take it. I will take it. Excellent. I'm going to mark a little waypoint because we're on this big flat out here. I'll put the net on this guy because I don't want to lose my lure. Just tied on this new rattle trap. Come here, little buddy. There we go. We got him, baby. We got him. Excellent. Cranking for pike and bass on a new body of water here, guys, and it's always good to put one in the net. And of course, the jet skis come out right when we catch a fish. Just kidding. But in all seriousness, you know, like, come on, seriously. Anyway, let's get this guy unhooked and take a look at him. Cool. Oh, he's already unhooked. Excellent. Not a monster, guys, but I'll take him all day long. All day long like that. Beautiful. This little northern there. There she goes. I'm fishing fluorocarbon. I've got St. Croix's Legend Glass. It's a 7.2 medium moderate rod. It's like just an awesome all-star badass crankbait rod. As you can see, I got a Cordell Super Spot here, and I got 10-pound fluoro, but because of that northern, I decided to rig up, if you can see here, with just a real thin 7-strand leader. I have a feeling I'm going to be getting into more pike, and I really don't want to get bitten off, so I think the bass won't mind in this turbid water.
Once I was able to locate some aggressive fish with my lipless crankbait, I then went back through these areas, which I had marked with waypoints, and applied a much more subtle finesse approach, using a Texas rig in hopes of triggering strikes from the more reluctant members of the group.
Got her. Got her. Ooh, what do we have here? What do we have here? Go, guys. Texas rigging worms and big smallies. Wow. Look at that fish pole. Oh my gosh, they just don't give up. Holy cow. Oh, oh, let me get my net ready. Oh my gosh, is this a fighting? Look at this thing fight, guys. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at that thing. Oh, that's a nice fish, guys. I'll get her into the net. I'm going to be one happy day. And we got a touchdown. Oh man, that is a mammoth smallie. Holy smokes. Did she crush that thing or what? Talk about a fighter. Guys, take a look at this monster smallie. Wow. Now that is a nice fish right there. Beautiful, beautiful bronze back. What a fight. These fish fight so hard. Wow. Now let's get her back in the drink. Get her back in the water. All right, guys, I just caught this monster smallmouth bass, and I want to show you the setup I'm using that I use all the time here in northern Wisconsin, and you can apply this anywhere you fish to catch bass in slop cover, and that is the Texas rig. So first of all, here I've got fluorocarbon 10-pound test line here. It's a good line. It sinks, and it's got plenty of strength to haul in the biggest of bass. First thing you put on before you tie your knot is this little worm weight. You can see here that it slides up and down the line there. That's an 1/8 ounce. I like throwing an 1/8 ounce for bass fishing in general settings, anywhere from 3 to 12 feet of water. Some people call these bullet weights, these worm sinkers, but they're very effective, and they are made to slide up and down your line. So don't worry if it starts sliding, you didn't do something wrong. They're made to do this. On the business end here, I have a size 1 offset shank here. You can see the offset shank worm hook, and this is how I rig it. I just take any old plastic worm. It doesn't matter what brand, maker, model. I think this is the 5 or 6 inch plastic worm here. And what you want to do is take one end of it and go through about 1/4 inch and come out right away. See how I did that? Come out right away. And now what you're going to do is slide this all the way up to the offset shank part, and you can see here that I buried it right inside there. So the offset shank's actually holding the worm in place. Then what you're going to do here with the other end here, the hook end, you're going to push it all the way through the worm here so it pokes out the back or the top there. See how I got that? And right now the barb is exposed, okay? And what we're going to do is, see if I can show you this the best I can here. We're going to push forward on the worm here and bury and pull back and bury the barb and the point of that hook right in there. And this is what it looks like when it's all done. I mean, it's just really sleek, you know, slim profile. It goes through the weeds really well. Of course, it'll get hung up occasionally, but there it is. Now, I'm using St. Croix's Legend Extreme spinning rod. This is their 610 medium power, extra fast action. Medium power is real good for this. Anytime you got a 1/16 to an 1/8 ounce presentation here for jigging. I got this on a 2500 size spinning reel, and pretty much just rise with the rod or the reel, let it sink, and just keep a tautness as it sinks. You can feel any bites when it under slack line, and when you feel the thump, just set the hook.
When fishing solo, one of the tactics that I like to apply in order to cover water more effectively is to take both parallel and perpendicular casts along the structure I'm working. I apply this technique on all types of structure. It helps to ensure that I am presenting my lure to fish buried in the flat and those that are out holding on the deeper edge.
Got her. Got her. Yep, they're in the middle of the flat. Now what do we have here? Oh my gosh. Don't tell me it's really... Oh, it's a piker. Awesome. Oh, getting some multi-species going. All right, she's actually hooked really well for a pike. Oh, come here. Come here. Don't bite me off just yet. There we go. That was awesome. Now I think we got him dialed in. I think we got him dialed in now. Well, there you go. Nice northern. I'll take it. We got the Texas rig going for the bass, but occasionally you catch a big northern. Cool. Overall, I would rate my scouting mission this morning as like C. It gets a C grade from the old chemistry teacher here. Just didn't see exactly what I wanted today. Caught some pike, and you know, got the real big smallmouth. But moving on to muskies, can't go too long without casting a musky rod. So, and this is also this lake this afternoon is also kind of a tester. It'll be only the second time I'm out there. First time was just purely scouting, didn't really cast. So this time I'm coming out swinging. So we'll see what happens.
One of the most important things I have learned over the years while muskie hunting is that massive featureless reef systems will hold muskies throughout the entire season. It is all relative to the type and amount of structure on a given body of water, and often the key determining factors for finding muskies on these large featureless structures is the presence of bait fish.
Oh, darn it. Little muskie got off. That was pretty cool though. Wow. Darn. Threw it. But we made positive contact on a new lake, and that's a big deal. Very cool. Darn. Boy, the colors on that fish were just gorgeous. All right, so far in my quest and hunt, my hunt out here on this new body of water I'm fishing, I hooked and lost what I would say was about a 30-incher on the biggest reef system on the lake. And that's what I'm kind of looking at right now on my map. I'm trying to figure out, what is the biggest. I fished the two biggest ones right now, and I'm looking at like what are the biggest flats I can find. Where would I likely find, the most highest percentage spot to find a predator fish? So I just looked at the map and I see one or two other areas that are still pretty big that I haven't checked yet. So I'm gonna go fish those.
Unfortunately, the muskie action on my last couple spots did not pan out as I had planned. But as the afternoon drew to a close, a couple of blue herons swooped down close as they flew by and reminded me just how lucky we are to live in this great country and have the freedoms to follow our passions and chase our wildest dreams.
Chaz Martin's Musky Mastery Outdoors is brought to you by Joe Bucher Outdoors, #1 in big game fish products, and by St. Croix Rods, best rods on earth. Fish more, worry less.